the art of actually having a conversation about it, getting that live feedback, is something that is a little bit of that lost art that's happening just due to the technology advances, the generational shifts. A lot of our, Gen Z, and or our millennials as well, they've grown up with technology in the palm of their hands. And so there's so much one-way communication. We're just used to sort of having texting, conversations, which, as you mentioned before, Brad, there's a lack of tone in that. So we're not sure whether or not people are making jokes or they're serious. Sometimes offense can be taken when we look at certain things written in a certain way, etc. But more importantly, there's the inability to actually do that critical thinking and to have those conversations where ideas are actually put on the table, that just through that dialogue, someone goes, oh, well, what if we did this? Or what? And it reminds me of one of the participants that I was working with in one of our leadership programs. And she was very much I think probably the best way to describe it is she was a very compliant person. So, if she was asked to do something by her leaders, then she was very good at being able to follow the rules and, follow the rhythm, tick the boxes, do what she needed to do. And so very much, what do we need to do? How do we do it? And that was very much her focus. And I challenged her in one of the sessions and I said, one of the areas that I'd like to see you do a bit more work on is understanding why. Like, why should people do that? Like, it's great that you can communicate to them what they need to do and how they need to do it. But if they're not connected to the why they need to do it, which is essentially the what's in it for me principle, then they're probably either going to do it for a period of time while you're watching them and then drop the ball when you stop watching them, or they'll just say yes, 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 and then not actually go ahead and follow that process. So what was really interesting was the connection to that why. And I said, and as part of that, I'd like to see you also develop the critical thinking ability, and that is to look upstream and say, well, we've got what we need to do and how to do it, but what if X, Y, and Z happens, which really relates to the example you just shared, Brad, which is that a lot of the time people are not future pacing. Okay, well, things are looking great now. Well, we seem to have everything under control now, but what's the next step? What if this happens? What if we wanted to get to this particular outcome? What would we need to do, or what would we need to change?